Are you a perfectionist or a procrastinator? I never considered myself to be a perfectionist, maybe a procrastinator, until I found out some really interesting traits and behaviors of a perfectionist. Now, perfectionism can turn your life into an endless report card of accomplishments and an endless focus on your body image. Well, you might say, well, what's so wrong with trying to look your best and trying to do your best? Well, there's a huge difference between striving for excellence and demanding perfection in your life. Now, perfectionism can lead to unhappiness and is often accompanied by depression and eating disorders. What makes perfectionism so toxic is that while you really want to be successful, deep down inside, subconsciously, you really doubt yourself. And you are afraid of failing. So perfectionism in real life is impossible. And it often leads to procrastination, hesitation, and inconsistency in your life. Now, where did this need for perfectionism even come from? Most people will say society. Well, what about your parents or whoever rose you? Do they get upset when you got B's instead of A's in grade school? Or when you didn't do things the way they wanted you to do and you didn't meet up to those standards? Now, my father was a perfectionist. Anytime he walked into my parents' home, it looked like it was ready for an open house any day of the week. Every single decor placed on any table was measured precisely to the centimeter with a measuring tape to make sure it was perfectly centered. One of our chores was to get down on our hands and knees and comb the fringes of the living room rug with a hair pick to make them straight. Now, perfectionism has become even more abundant these days over the past 5 years, especially with younger people. With the boom of Instagram, of course, you've seen pictures where you see the happy couple off on vacation in Bali, or the successful entrepreneur leaning back on his Lamborghini, or the flawless model with 12 million followers. You've seen these pics. You know what I'm talking about. So, there's a few types of perfectionism. The first is self-criticism, where you're constantly, having an idea of being a perfect person. Then there's another type where you're constantly comparing your life to other people. But this is unhealthy because this can lead to jealousy and envy for the fact that you don't have the same lifestyle, life status, relationship, or physique as someone else. And then third, you can have unrealistic expectations of perfectionism from other people, which can lead to disappointments and problems in relationships. So when you're striving for a perfect life, you really want to ask yourself, is it just the idea of having a perfect life? Like, what's the real reason that you want this in your life? So what you really want to do is you want to ask the why. Why do you want this in your life? And not just once. Ask it 3 times. Ask it a few times. Why do I want this in my life? And you'll really get to know yourself. I spent a year getting to know myself, asking the why. And I realized that for years, I have been living for other people. When we're doing things that are not for us and for other people, you're ending up, wasting time and energy because it leads to procrastination, hesitation, and inconsistency in your life. Now, are you doing this for yourself, for you, or are you doing it for the approval and acceptance of others? When you start to ask yourself these questions and dig in deep, you get to peel back the layers and find out what's the real desire, what's the real motive behind the things that you do, the way you behave, the people you hang out with, the things that you want in your life. And you'll get to realize that, only you can love you more than anybody else. Only you can care for you even more than your family or any of your friends. Only you can bring yourself happiness. And once you realize this, you are free. And this opens up unlimited opportunities for you. Once you realize that only you can make yourself happy and nobody else and no other material bullshit in the world, all that stuff just covers up insecurities. And you know what? You'll get to love yourself for who you are. So I highly suggest that you really dig down deep into yourself. You know, it could take up to a year to do this, you know, to discover yourself, find out what the motive behind things, your goals, what you want in your life, you know, what's the real reason behind it. So if you feel that this video resonates with you, or if it motivates you in any kind of way, comment on it, whether you agree with it or not. But just remember, always do you for you and nobody else, because only you can make yourself happy. Peace.